Hey guys, it's me, the dude who talks, and welcome. So for today, this is another album that I'm talking about, which I'm definitely late to the party for, and that is the latest album from Crowbar, which is called Zero and Below. This came out on the 4th of March through MNRK Heavy, and it is their 12th album following on from 2016's The Serpent Only Lies. So a small bio about Crowbar. I assume many of you know who they are, so I'm not going to go too much into detail. Formed in 1990 in New Orleans, one of the most prominent bands from the NOLA scene, such as Down, I Ate God, Acid Bath, and Soylent Green, just to name a few. They're one of the OGs and considered one of the pioneers of the sludge metal genre. In terms of the lineup, there's been only one sole original member throughout Crowbar, and that is the riff wizard, that is Kirk Weinstein. So with that out the way, now on to the actual album, Zero and Below. What did I think of it? Did I like it? Did I hate it? Let's find out. Those who want to know, Zero and Below consists of 10 songs and clocks in at around 44 minutes. So we'll start like we always do and start with the album opener, which is called The Fear That Binds You. And it starts off as a more aggressive mid-paced song with a bit of hard chugging riffs thrown in for good measure. So a little bit different than the slower sludgy riffs than they're known for, but definitely not too far out for them. Definitely gets the album off to a good start, and Kirk Weinstein's vocals are as powerful and commanding as ever, and what I like about his vocals, they're always so distinct. Even on his voice, when there's the production like fades on the voice in this song, it doesn't alter it in any way, it's just there as an additional effect. In terms of going back into this song, the standard slow mode that they're known for, it's in the DNA, comes in towards the end of the opening song. So talking about the album as a whole, it is definitely a Crowbar album through and through, and what I mean by that, as soon as you put it on, you just know, and you listen to it and you just know it's Crowbar through and through. It's got the ingredients that make a Crowbar album great. You got the riffs, both sludgier and more mid-paced, and you got the moments of even slower parts. Like for me, when I listen to a Crowbar album, I instantly know, it's Crowbar. And they're a band that are always consistent. I don't think they've ever put out a bad album. And Zero and Below is no exception to that. A thing about it, there's no filler on this album. And for that, it was hard for me to pick out a favourite song. But at a push, some of the songs that were really strong for me was Confess to Nothing, which is to me the standard of Crowbar. When I listen to it, I hear everything that I like about them. The riff in the song, it makes me do the Robert De Niro face, or if someone has too many sour sweets and you do that. It's really good. And you got Kirk's vocals, which are powerful as ever. Also, the two singles on the album, Chemical Gods and the more faster paced Bleeding from Every Hole, I do like that title name, do a great job of that as well. And that is the thing with Crowbar. They know what the listener wants to hear on their albums, and that is riffs with added melancholy, which, this album really delivers on. Also, on a side note, I noticed there was a little bit of old school showmanship in the beginning of the song. It's always worth the gain, and I just wanted to make a really cool note about it because I thought it was really cool. So obviously I've mentioned about the stuff that makes Crowbar great and the stuff that's really consistent about them, but there's something really cool towards on the last song, which is new things are thrown into the mix. And they've mentioned themselves, this is the first time that they've actually included an acoustic guitar on a Crowbar album. And the last song, Zero and Below, it adds much more emotional depth and it really helps close the album out. So it's now on to the nitpick section, my least favourite part of this video. So yeah, this is a Crowbar album through and through, and with that, it really doesn't do much else, which, for people who listen to Crowbar like me, that's fine because they know what they want from a Crowbar album, and they definitely do deliver on that, like I've said. But I feel like after 12 albums, they could afford to change it up a bit more than I have on this record. And don't get me wrong, there's some parts where they do change it up, like I said on the last song. However, yeah, I feel like they could go a bit more thrashy or a bit more slower, like have a song that's like similar to like Touch the Hand of God. Like, I fucking love that song. I wish to do more songs like that. But as an album, while there was like some really good songs on it, on Zero and Below, I do feel like there wasn't a song that was like really outright memorable. Like, I had to listen to this song, like album, sorry, back to back, like non-stop to like get it to stuck in my head. I feel like, you know, like on some album, on the previous albums, they've like got All I Had I Gave and, you know, like Planets Collide, which are like really memorable. There was like nothing on this on Zero and Below, unfortunately. So after waffling a bit on the nitpick section, here is my overall opinion, and you know, it's a good one. This is another notch to Crowbar's consistency. They've delivered yet another great album from veterans who have pioneered their own sound. However, if you're one of those who might think they've just put out the same album again, it might not appeal to you that much, but it's still a solid album. So if that wasn't your thing, I've got an album that might be up your street, and that is Humans Being by Pigiron. Now, this is quite a strange one. I was not expecting it to be like this. It kind of reminded me of the album Brainweed by Traps in the way that it's quite dark and quite unsettling in places. But this has much more of a sci-fi theme to it. Think Godflesh, think Skinny Puppy merged together with sci-fi themes and someone doing like robot voices. And you've kind of got Humans Being. It's a really, really interesting listen, and I was kind of fascinated by it. I wish I had more time because I'd love to do a full review. And if you want me to do a full review, please let me know, and I will definitely do it. Yeah, and for some reason it reminded me of a band called Landscape, which I think my dad used to play an album by Landscape in the car, and I was like, oh, just kind of that similar sci-fi themes. But yeah, it's really interesting. I'll include a link to their Bandcamp. You should check it out. And I'd love to see him live, actually. So, yeah. Okay, so that was me talking about Zero and Below by Crowbar. Have you picked this album up yet? Please let me know if you have down below in the comment section. Like always, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It really helps out. I've also got my socials as well, Instagram and Facebook, so if you want to give them a like and a follow, feel free to do so. It helps out to spread the word. So yeah, that is it from me. I've been the dude who talks. You guys are fucking awesome as always, and I'll see you soon.